Have you ever wondered why certain moments in your life feel like turning points? As if a door you could have walked through simply vanished once you made a decision? What if I told you that in every single moment, whether you realize it or not, you are collapsing infinite realities into the one you are experiencing right now? Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold on to, every action you take, these are not small meaningless movements of the day. They are choices that literally shape the version of the universe you step into. And the truth is, you are not just drifting in a single fixed timeline. You are standing in a sea of infinite possibilities, constantly swimming through them, even if you've been unaware of it until now. Imagine for a moment that around you exist countless versions of your life. In one, you are already living your dream, aligned with purpose, love, and abundance. In another, you remain stuck in the same cycles of fear, doubt, and limitation. And in between, an endless spectrum of realities is waiting to be chosen. The shocking part is this: you are the chooser. You've always been the chooser. The question is whether you are choosing consciously or unconsciously. Most people live their entire lives without realizing the power they hold. They believe life happens to them. They think the cards have already been dealt, and all they can do is play the hand they've been given. But what if reality doesn't work that way? What if reality is more like clay, soft and pliable, and every moment you decide how it will be shaped? The greatest illusion we've inherited is that time moves in a straight line and we are trapped on a single path. But in truth, reality is more like a grand web of infinite threads, all stretching out before you. At every second, you are stepping onto one of these threads, one of these possibilities, while the others dissolve from your immediate awareness. This process happens so naturally, so seamlessly, that you rarely notice it, but it is happening. And the more aware you become, the more power you have to direct where your next step lands. To live without this awareness is to walk blindfolded through a palace of treasures, never realizing that with one turn, one choice, you could open a new door and discover something extraordinary. Think about the times in your life when you stood at a crossroads. Perhaps it was deciding whether to pursue a dream or take the safe path. Maybe it was choosing to stay in a relationship or to walk away. Maybe it was a moment where your intuition whispered something, but fear convinced you otherwise. Each of those moments collapsed one potential reality and expanded another. And here's the secret: even the smallest, most subtle decisions do the same. The way you think about yourself when you wake up in the morning, the way you speak about your future, the energy you give to worry or gratitude, all of these choices ripple out, collapsing realities and setting you on a path. When you begin to see this, life becomes something entirely different. It's no longer random. It's no longer just fate. It becomes art. It becomes creation. There is an old version of you that accepts the script handed down by society, a version that believes in limitation and waits for permission to live. And then there is the new version of you that recognizes every moment as sacred, every thought as a brushstroke on the canvas of existence. These two versions are both within you, but only one gets to direct your reality. Which one will you choose? Because make no mistake, you are choosing every second of every day, whether you know it or not. And this is where the journey becomes both empowering and humbling. Empowering because you realize you are never stuck, you can shift. Humbling because once you know this truth, you can no longer pretend you are powerless. Awareness is responsibility, but responsibility, when embraced, is the key to freedom. Imagine standing at the threshold of infinite doors, each leading to a version of your life. Behind one is joy and abundance, behind another is struggle and stagnation. You hold the key. You always have, and the way you turn that key is through the choices you make right now, in this very breath. So as we step into this exploration together, I invite you to open your mind wider than it has ever been opened before. Suspend the disbelief that has been trained into you. Allow yourself to feel the truth in your heart, even if your logical mind protests. Because deep down, you already know this. You've felt glimpses of it in déjà vu, in moments of synchronicity, in times when your intuition guided you and reality seemed to bend in your favor. Those weren't accidents, they were reminders. Reminders that reality is not as rigid as you've been told. Reminders that you are not a victim of chance, but a co-creator of existence. The journey ahead is not about forcing or controlling. It is about remembering and aligning. It is about reclaiming the power of conscious choice and using it wisely. For in this very moment, as you listen, infinite versions of you are waiting. The only question is, which one will you step into next? The old self that repeats the same patterns, or the awakened self that chooses a higher reality? The answer, my friend, is already forming. And together, we are about to uncover how to choose with wisdom, with intention, and with love. To understand the incredible power you hold, you must first open your heart and mind to the nature of infinite realities. This is not just a poetic idea, it is a truth that both ancient wisdom and modern science are beginning to whisper in harmony. The mystics have always spoken of countless worlds, layered dimensions, and the infinite nature of the soul. Today, quantum physics speaks in its own language, describing particles that exist in states of possibility until observed, and realities that shift based on interaction. Two languages pointing to one revelation. Reality is not fixed, it is fluid, it is alive, and it is infinite. Picture life not as a single track you are bound to walk, but as an ocean of endless currents. Each current represents a potential version of your reality. Some are near to you, flowing just beneath your feet, ready to carry you if you step lightly. Others are farther away, waiting to be drawn closer through intention, belief, and alignment. Most people believe they are bound to one current, that destiny has chained them there. Yet if you could zoom out, you would see that you are surrounded by streams of possibility, all moving, all alive, and you at every moment have the ability to shift. The shift does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it is as subtle as choosing gratitude over resentment. Sometimes it is as grand as making a life-changing decision. But whether small or large, each choice alters the flow of your life, guiding you into one of infinite realities. Now consider this. If reality is infinite, then every version of you already exists. The version of you that pursued your dreams, the version of you that settled for less, the version of you that found love, the version of you that walked away. Each exists as a thread in the tapestry of possibility. You are not creating these versions from nothing. You are choosing which one to align with. Like tuning a radio to a specific station, your thoughts and emotions act as the dial. When you radiate fear, you tune into realities where fear dominates. When you radiate trust and love, you align with timelines where those energies unfold more fully. It is not punishment or reward, it is resonance. Reality echoes back the frequency you choose to embody. This understanding can be both overwhelming and liberating. Overwhelming because you realize the sheer vastness of what is possible and how much of your life has been steered by unconscious patterns. Liberating because you also realize you are not trapped in any one version. You are not condemned to repeat the past unless you choose to. The key lies in awareness. When you begin to see reality as infinite, you release the need to cling to scarcity. You stop believing that there is only one chance, one path, one opportunity. Instead, you begin to breathe in the richness of life, knowing that there are countless doors, countless mirrors, countless chances to align. Think about how often we use language that points to this truth without even realizing it. We say things like, "In another life I would have done this," or "In another world, I'd be someone different." The reason such phrases resonate so deeply is because some part of us knows they are true. Those other lives, those other worlds, are not just imagination, they are the shadows of realities running parallel to this one. And through the choices you make, you are constantly moving closer to or further from them. Every time you feel a deep longing for a different life, it may not be fantasy, it may be your soul pulling you toward a reality that already exists, waiting for your alignment. To grasp this more deeply, let us look at the contrast between the old paradigm and the new. The old paradigm tells you life is linear. You are born, you grow, you achieve, you decline, you die. It tells you reality is hard and external, like a stone you cannot bend. It tells you that chance or fate decides your path, and your role is to endure it. This is the belief system many of us inherited, and it is why so many people feel powerless and small. But the new paradigm is emerging, and it tells a different story. It says life is not linear but multidimensional. It says reality is soft, pliable, responsive to consciousness. It says you are not a passive passenger but a co-creator. And when you begin to embrace this, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of reality, and start seeing yourself as its sculptor. Notice how these two paradigms feel inside you. The old feels heavy, constricting, as if you are locked in a box. The new feels expansive, like standing in a vast field beneath an open sky. This is not just an intellectual difference, it is a vibrational one. The old paradigm vibrates with fear, scarcity, and limitation. The new paradigm vibrates with possibility, empowerment, and love. And you, in every moment, are choosing which vibration to embody. That choice directs the reality you collapse into. That choice determines whether you remain in the stuck, recycled versions of yourself, or step into the fresh, expansive versions waiting to be lived. Perhaps you are wondering, if all realities already exist, then what is the point of striving, of growing, of making effort? The answer is simple. The point is experience. Your soul incarnated here to experience the joy of choice, the art of creation, the dance of shifting from one potential into another. Imagine standing in front of a vast gallery of paintings, each one a possible life you could live. Would you want to see only one, or would you want to explore, to feel, to immerse yourself in the beauty of many? Life is the same. Your soul delights in the movement, in the act of collapsing realities into lived moments. The purpose is not to cling to one fixed image, but to explore the infinite, to grow through the act of choosing. And so when you feel stuck, when you feel like your life has become small or repetitive, remember this: it is only one painting, one current, one thread. Infinite others surround you, waiting. You are never bound to one. At any moment you can shift. And the key to shifting is not to chase desperately after something far away, but to change your frequency in the here and now. Every breath, every thought, every feeling is an opportunity to align with a different reality. It is that simple, and yet it is also that profound. The nature of infinite realities is not meant to overwhelm you, but to free you. It is a reminder that you are so much more than you have been told. It is a call to awaken to the ocean of possibilities around you. It is an invitation to stop drifting unconsciously, and to begin choosing with awareness. Because when you know the truth, that reality is infinite and alive, you can no longer shrink yourself into powerlessness. You can only expand, and expansion is what you came here to do. Every moment you are alive, countless realities swirl around you like waves on an infinite ocean. Some rise close to you, shimmering and ready to become your lived experience. Others remain further away, faint but still alive, waiting for alignment. And yet, out of this ocean of possibilities, you only ever step into one. That step is what we call the collapse. The collapse is the moment a possibility becomes your reality, the instant an option becomes solid and lived. This is not a distant theoretical process. It is happening in every breath you take, every thought you think, every action you choose. You are collapsing realities constantly, whether you are aware of it or not. Consider the act of making even a small choice. Imagine you wake up in the morning and decide to stay in bed, scrolling through your phone, letting the hours slip away. In that moment, you collapse into a reality where your energy feels stagnant, where your day begins with distraction, where opportunities drift further from your reach. Now imagine instead that you rise with purpose, you stretch, breathe deeply, and set an intention for your day. In that choice, you collapse into a reality of clarity, productivity, and alignment, two entirely different realities, born from the smallest of decisions. Multiply this across the hundreds of choices you make in a single day, and you begin to understand the immense power you wield. Life is not one big collapse at the end. It is countless collapses in every moment. But here is the hidden layer. Most people are not making choices consciously. They are collapsing realities based on old programming, unconscious beliefs, and patterns inherited from childhood or society. If deep down you believe you are not worthy of success, you will unconsciously make choices that align with realities of struggle and scarcity. If you believe love is dangerous, you will collapse into realities where love feels distant or painful. The subconscious mind, left unchecked, becomes the silent architect of your reality. And this is why so many people feel stuck. They are not choosing with awareness. They are repeating with autopilot. The same fears, the same doubts, the same stories played again and again, collapsing into the same reality day after day. To see this clearly, imagine standing in front of a great tree with infinite branches. Each branch represents a different path, a different reality. If you always climb the same familiar branch, you will always see the same view. But if you dare to reach for a new branch, the entire horizon changes. The collapse of realities is just like this. Most people keep climbing the same branch, not because it is the only one available, but because it is the one they know. The collapse feels inevitable, but in truth, it is simply familiar. When you begin to understand this, you realize that your patterns are not destiny. They are simply habits of collapsing into the same possibilities. And habits can be changed. Think for a moment about fear. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that directs collapses. When you allow fear to dominate your choices, you collapse into realities that echo that fear. For example, imagine you feel called to speak your truth, but fear of rejection silences you. In that silence, you collapse into a reality where your voice remains unheard, and your power feels diminished. On the other hand, when you choose to act despite fear, when you choose alignment over avoidance, you collapse into realities of courage, growth, and expansion. The contrast is clear. Fear collapses you into smaller versions of yourself. Alignment collapses you into higher versions. Every time you choose alignment over fear, you shift into a reality where your light shines more fully. Now let us consider beliefs. Beliefs are the lenses through which you perceive possibility, and they shape the realities you collapse into. If you hold a belief that life is a struggle, you will see and choose from possibilities that confirm struggle. If you believe life is abundant, you will notice and choose from possibilities that confirm abundance. Beliefs are not neutral, they are magnets that pull certain realities closer and push others away. The collapse of realities is not random, it is guided by the beliefs you carry, and the choices those beliefs inspire. This is why shifting your beliefs is one of the most powerful acts of creation you can make. When you shift your belief, you shift your available realities. You literally alter the spectrum of worlds you can collapse into. But beliefs alone are not enough. They must be combined with action. The collapse happens not just in thought, but in embodiment. Imagine believing you are abundant but continuing to act from fear, hoarding, clinging, refusing to take aligned risks. In that mismatch, the collapse favors fear. But when your actions align with your beliefs, when you think abundance, feel abundance, and act abundantly, you collapse into realities where abundance becomes undeniable. The universe responds not just to what you say you want, but to what you embody in thought, emotion, and action. Alignment across all three is the formula for shifting into your desired reality. Let's return to the contrast between the old self and the new self. The old self makes choices unconsciously, repeating patterns, collapsing into realities of limitation. The new self makes choices consciously, with awareness, collapsing into realities of expansion. The old self asks, "What if I fail?" The new self asks, "What if I succeed?" The old self chooses based on fear of loss. The new self chooses based on the joy of alignment. Both are you, but only one creates the reality you truly desire. And every moment, you stand at the threshold between them. Which voice will you listen to? Which choice will you collapse into being? Think of the collapse as the mirror of your inner world. Whatever energy you project inwardly is what solidifies outwardly. If you radiate self-doubt, you collapse into realities where doors remain closed. If you radiate self-trust, you collapse into realities where doors swing wide open. The mirror never lies. It reflects back exactly what you are choosing, consciously or unconsciously. This is why transformation begins within. If you want a new reality, you must first choose a new vibration. Change your thoughts, change your feelings, change your actions, and the collapse will follow. The outer world is only ever the echo of the inner. There is a beauty in this process once you embrace it. Instead of fearing the collapse, you can celebrate it. Every choice becomes sacred, every moment becomes art. When you realize you are collapsing realities, even the smallest actions become meaningful. Drinking a glass of water with gratitude collapses you into a reality of nourishment. Offering kindness to a stranger collapses you into a reality of connection. Speaking your truth collapses you into a reality of freedom. These are not small things, they are the building blocks of the universe you live in. And when you string them together with intention, your entire life begins to shift. So let us pause and breathe in this truth. The collapse is not happening to you, it is happening through you. You are not a passive observer of reality. You are the chooser, the director, the sculptor. With every thought, every belief, every action, you collapse infinite potentials into one lived experience. And when you understand this, you are no longer bound to the same loops and limitations. You hold the power to shift. You hold the power to choose differently. And in choosing differently, you collapse into a new life, a new self, a new reality that has been waiting for you all along. Up until now, we have explored the vast ocean of infinite realities and the way each choice collapses one possibility into your lived experience. But knowing this truth is only the beginning. The real power emerges when you learn how to consciously shift, when you awaken from unconscious repetition and begin to step deliberately into the realities that align with your highest self. Becoming a conscious reality shifter is not about controlling life with force. It is about aligning with life, tuning your vibration to the realities you prefer, and walking with awareness. The shift is not done with tension. It is done with clarity, with intention, with a calm but unwavering presence. The first step is awareness. You cannot shift what you do not notice. Begin by watching yourself closely, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Notice the choices you make on autopilot. Notice the stories you tell yourself. Notice the emotions that rise within you. Each one is a thread pulling you toward a certain reality. When you become aware, you suddenly hold the power to pause, and in that pause lies the doorway to a new collapse. Instead of reacting unconsciously, you create space to choose consciously. That space is everything. It is the womb of transformation. The second step is shifting belief. As we have seen, beliefs are magnets for realities. If you carry the belief that you are small, unworthy, or powerless, you will continue to collapse realities that reflect that belief. To become a conscious shifter, You must begin replacing those beliefs with ones that align with your desired reality. This is not about pretending or forcing yourself to believe what feels false. It is about gently training your mind and heart toward truth. For example, instead of saying, "I am wealthy beyond measure," when it feels like a lie, you might begin with, "I am open to abundance flowing into my life." Instead of saying, "I love myself fully," when you still struggle with self-doubt, you might begin with, "I am learning to love and accept myself more each day." These transitional beliefs act as stepping stones, gently guiding you toward the vibration of the reality you prefer. And as you practice, the new beliefs root deeper until they become natural, and the collapse follows them. The third step is emotional mastery. Your emotions are not random, they are signals, frequencies that tell you which reality you are aligning with. Fear, doubt, resentment. These pull you into realities of struggle and limitation. Gratitude, joy, trust. These open doors into realities of flow and abundance. This does not mean you must suppress or deny your emotions. Quite the opposite. It means you allow them, feel them, and then consciously shift them toward alignment. Imagine a day when fear rises within you. Instead of letting it dictate your choices, you pause, breathe, and ask, "What is the higher vibration I can embody right now?" Perhaps it is courage, perhaps it is faith, perhaps it is simply peace. As you shift your emotional state, you shift your frequency, and when your frequency changes, the realities available to you change as well. The outer world begins to reflect the inner choice. The fourth step is visualization. The mind is a powerful tool, a projector of realities. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself living in the reality you desire, you are tuning your frequency to that possibility. You are pulling it closer, making it easier to collapse into. Visualization is not about daydreaming idly, it is about stepping into the feeling of the reality as if it is already yours. If you desire abundance, imagine yourself already living in ease and freedom. Feel the gratitude in your body, see the details of that life as clearly as you can. If you desire love, imagine yourself already surrounded by warmth and connection. Feel the joy in your chest, let your body remember what it is like. The subconscious does not know the difference between imagination and reality, it simply follows the frequency you embody. The more vividly you practice, the more naturally you collapse into that reality in waking life. The fifth step is aligned action. Shifting is not only inner, it must be lived. When your beliefs and emotions shift but your actions remain old, the collapse wavers. Action is the anchor that solidifies the shift. Ask yourself each day, what is one step I can take that aligns with the reality I desire? If you are aligning with health, perhaps it is nourishing your body. If you are aligning with abundance, perhaps it is saying yes to an opportunity. If you are aligning with love, perhaps it is opening your heart in vulnerability. These actions may seem small, but they are sacred. Each one collapses you deeper into the chosen reality. Each one declares to the universe, "This is who I am now." As you practice these steps, awareness, belief, emotion, visualization, action, you begin to see evidence of your shift. Synchronicities appear. Unexpected opportunities arrive. People show up who feel aligned. This is the universe confirming that you are collapsing into a new version of reality. Pay attention to these signs, celebrate them, let them reinforce your trust. The more you acknowledge the shift, the more it strengthens. Reality loves attention. Where your focus goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, reality forms. It is also important to release attachment to the how. When you try to force the details, you close yourself off to possibilities greater than what you can imagine. Your role is not to control every outcome, it is to align with the frequency of your desired reality and trust that the collapse will unfold in ways beyond your limited perspective. This is where surrender comes in. Conscious shifting is a dance between intention and surrender, between clarity and trust. You choose with awareness, you align your vibration, you take action, and then you release. You let the infinite field of reality surprise you, and in that surprise, magic is born. Becoming a conscious reality shifter does not mean you never feel doubt or fear again. It means you learn to navigate them with awareness. You learn to pause, to realign, to choose again. Every moment is a chance to shift. Even when you fall back into old patterns, you are not trapped. You can always step into a new reality with your next breath. This is the beauty of it. You are never stuck. Infinite doors surround you, always. So imagine your life if you began to live this way. Imagine waking up each day with the awareness that you are collapsing realities. Imagine choosing thoughts, emotions, and actions that align with your highest self. Imagine watching your world shift around you, not by accident, but by design. This is not fantasy. It is the natural result of conscious alignment, and it is available to you now. The moment you decide, the moment you choose wisely, you become the conscious shifter of your destiny. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on what you have just discovered. You are not drifting through life on a single track, bound by fate or chance. You are standing in the center of infinite possibilities, collapsing them into your lived reality with every breath, every thought, every choice. This truth is both profound and simple. You are the chooser. You always have been. The question has never been whether you are creating, but whether you are creating consciously. Think of the old self, the version of you who moved through life unaware of this truth, collapsing the same realities again and again out of habit, fear, and unconscious belief. That self did not know the power they held. That self thought life was happening to them. But today a new self is awakening. The self that chooses with awareness, the self that recognizes every moment as sacred, the self that understands reality as soft, pliable, and responsive to consciousness. This new self does not wait for permission. This new self does not cling to limitation. This new self knows that with one choice, one vibration, one shift, an entirely new reality can emerge. So as you leave this space, I invite you to carry this awareness into your daily life. Begin to notice the small choices, the way you speak to yourself, the way you respond to challenges, the energy you bring into a room. Each one is a collapse. Each one is the sculpting of your destiny. When fear arises, remember, choosing alignment collapses you into courage. When doubt whispers, remember, choosing trust collapses you into clarity. When old stories resurface, remember, choosing love collapses you into freedom. The path is not about perfection, it is about presence. The more present you are, the more consciously you choose, and the more aligned your reality becomes. Do not underestimate the ripple of even the smallest choice. Smiling at a stranger, pausing to breathe instead of reacting, speaking a word of kindness to yourself, these are not minor acts. They are seeds of new realities, planted in the soil of the infinite. With time they grow into forests of transformation. With time they alter not only your life but the lives of everyone you touch. For when you shift your reality, you also shift the collective field. Your alignment inspires others. Your courage awakens others. Your light becomes a beacon in a world that so often forgets its own power. And so I leave you with this reminder. In this very moment, infinite versions of your life are waiting. Some filled with struggle, some filled with joy, some filled with profound purpose. The choice is yours. Choose wisely, not with fear but with love. Choose with the awareness that you are not small, not powerless, but a conscious creator of worlds. Choose with the trust that life is conspiring with you always, and most of all, choose with the knowing that you are worthy of the highest, most radiant reality you can imagine. Take a deep breath now, and feel it. In this moment, as you exhale, a reality is collapsing into being. Which one will you choose?